Oh, jeez. Just a sec. Got to pop the chat out. All right. Okay. Hi. Hi. I am back in the garage for power reasons. My sense won't be online for a bit. Hey, chat spam. Let me kill that real quick. Report. Spam report. Thanks for receiving your report. Blah blah blah. Cool. All right. Um, those spam bots are getting massive. All right. This is going to be a little bit of chaos today. I think I need to get some water for the soldering iron, but the Mega Drone is in need of a little love, and I'm going to go over that in a minute. But first, I'm going to go get some water and maybe a snack or something. Let's see. I've got a page for this in my book. There it is. Should dog ear that. All right. Be right back. Here, how do I do this in a way that you can still see some of the? There we go. All right, be right back. One more thing, and then we'll get this fired up. All right. Nice little worn out sponge. Let's get to it. All right. So, what I need to do, actually, you know what? Let's get a page on this so I can take some notes somewhere. Yeah, that'll work. Myself, sure. I don't know if this even writes. Yes, cool. All right. So, when I first built this silly thing, the Mega Drone, 10 oscillator voice. Well, it's not really a full voice, it's just 10 oscillators, right? And a master control, some CV, very basic. When I first built it, I made it so that I could swap out each individual capacitor so I could find the sweet spots. Uh, and to do that, I used regular old sockets. And it turns out they're not quite like grippy enough for there to be a good connection with the capacitor. So that's why there's tape on all of them just to try to keep it in stock. But I swapped them out until I found a range I kind of like. It turns out I don't like too many highs because they're a little overwhelming. And too many lows, they're okay. So right now I have a good mid range that can go really low if I need to. A couple of dedicated super low oscillators and two really high ones. Not super high, just in the high range. They can go pretty high, but again, prefer that the other way. So I'm taking all the tape off. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to document the capacitor values because I don't remember it at all. And then I'm going to desolder a bunch of things and then just solder the capacitors directly to the board because I think they're ready to be solid. And yeah, this is the back of the Mega Drone. I'll show you the front again in a second because it's one of my favorite things. So let me make sure these are in so I don't lose them. All right, buddies. All right, the front of the Mega Drone. And I am going to have to take all gazillion knobs off, which is very time consuming, but that's okay. And then there's a handful of M3 screws I've got to take off. But yeah, this is the 2000 Mega Drone. Mega Drone. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to work on. I might ramble a bit about synth design stuff. But first, I'm going to really quickly and probably not very loudly document where things are. So, geez. It's 13, 14. Where's so 1, 2, 4, 5. Okay, geez. Let's just do it in a grid. All right, what are you? You are. It's very cold out. 4.7 UF. No, it's not a U, but that's what I'm going to say. Okay, you are 10. I think I have a bunch of 10s. Yeah, 10, 22. And 22. Yeah, so this was getting to the point where to get it to work, like I'd have to whack it a few times to sort of jiggle the capacitors into being nice. Not a great thing to do. Like this stuff should be semi-reliable, right? All right, so 3 of those, 4 10s, 22, and probably a 22. Yeah. Okay, cool. All squared away there. Now I can get to business of taking this whole thing apart. Do a bunch of desoldering. Okay, so first I need a screwdriver that can do this teeny tiny stuff. Yeah, heck yeah. All right. So first things first, remove all of the potentiometer. Knobs. And I like these knobs, they're pretty good. I don't like Eurorack knobs because they're too small, which means they're a lot more sensitive. Or less sensitive? I'm not sure. It's easier to overturn something on a small knob. Use that fine tune approach. But these knobs are kind of hard to get, so I have to order them in bulk and wait a long time. Okay, synthesizer design. I've been thinking about this a bit. How people approach different modular layouts, like how to, like what dictates what modules you get, etc. And I think the most common I see is folks just sort of buying what they think is cool, and then occasionally what they feel they need. So like, okay, they get 4 voices and they're like, all right, well, I can't mix any of these, so I need a mixer. So they get a mixer. They want more envelope generators, they get more envelope generators. So it's sort of a mix between what's cool and shiny, and a little bit of function. Um, I spend way too much time overthinking things, so I tend to think about the function first. Like, new and shiny's cool, and I get caught by that, sure, every once in a while, but like that's what led me toward morphogene. Like, it is cool, but it's not my thing. But now I've been thinking about a more intent. Like when I first started, my first box was very intent driven because I had to build them all. So if you're going to build their modules, you really need to think out like what thing you got to build next. Otherwise, it's just going to be problematic. All right, hold on. I need to get a hex wrench. I believe I keep this little M3 box just because it's handy. Got a bunch of these though. All right, let's take these apart. Try not to scratch up the faceplate too much, but you know, it doesn't really matter. Scratches are just character. Okay, one. Man, it is hard to do any fine motor movement stuff right now. It is very cold out here. Thanks for catching that. There we go. I also like doing this kind of thing over the soldering mat because it tends to absorb some of the impact when I drop a nut and they don't teleport as far, so I don't lose them as often. Still happens, but you know, happens less, which is good. Okay. Okay. What was I saying? Intent. Yeah, so when I had to build every module like this, I'm very careful with what I build next. Um, like once your system's a certain size and capability, it's not as important, but one big Cosmo case is essentially a very small Euro rack case. But now that I'm getting into Euro rack, I've got a good base for my stuff. Like I've got mixers, I've got a bunch of envelope, like with some adapters and cables, I can support whatever I put into this new Euro rack case just fine. Uh, so I get to play a little more in terms of what I get first. All right. Gazillion of these things. But I'm still sort of thinking about it with intent. Like the first set of modules I got because they're ooze shiny and they were exciting to me. Some error modules. And next, I'm looking at more function though. Like I do have a good idea of what I want next. Like I think I'm starting with more drum, like building my modular case into a drum synthesizer first, or at least a district of it into a drum synthesizer. Like I want to replace the drum root basically, and that's not because the drum root impact is bad. I love it. It's just eventually I think this case would be a nice case to bring by itself to a venue if I need to. That way, if there's a short setup time required, I just have a single case. It's like one audio cable and a power cable, and I'm set up. You know, versus 5 boxes, outboard gear, etc. So that's sort of my goal. I guess I should have started with that. The goal of this case is sort of to be a tiny Cosmo plus a drum synth. Digital bubble wrap. um, and so I think I'll start with drums, then I'll move to probably mixing, some things like that, maybe a few utilities to support the big Cosmo case. and then remaking a few voices. So some of the voices should be pretty easy. Like I think the Erica Sitt's bass line could potentially resolve my baseline needs. Um, is once I make an order, that is very next on my build list, but I'm missing a couple components to build it, so we'll get there. I wish it hadn't taken me so long. So that might be the bass voice. It's got some nice detune. It's got its own little, I think, VCA and filter and everything. It's like a whole voice in one thing. Very stoked about that. And thank you for the PCB, Forestine, and Needless Mustard. The next thing I'm going to work on is probably a lead voice. So that means I need filters, I need envelopes. I've got Castor and Pollux, which is a good start. There's a couple other oscillators I'm interested in, but probably start with the other stuff first. Because Castor and Pollux is super flexible and can be two different oscillators or just one, like sort of detuned Juno type voice, which is pretty cool. All right, we're coming undone here. I like that corn song. All right, now just a couple of jack sockets. All right. Yeah, the bass line I'm really excited about. Okay. Pro tip, always close these things, these like packs of screws or whatever they are, whatever it happens to be, when you're not using them or bad things happen. All right, I've still got all the washers on there, so I'm just gonna really lazily move that over here, let things sort of slide. Cool. All right, that's the front panel. It's gigantic. Made for the 1000 oscillator Mega Drone 2020. Some nice lightning bolts here and there. Happy face, maybe dead face, I'm not sure. Yeah, cool. That over there. And this is what the guts look like. About what you'd expect. And the reason I had to take everything off is because I am desoldering things and I need access to those things. So, fun. Just cleaning this up a little bit because this PCB is ginormous. Single largest PCB I've worked on. Probably will work on in the foreseeable future. And it was also kind of a pricey PCB because it is so large, not because it was jacked up or anything. Okay, so we've got that. Got these dangly buddies. I want to take all of these. Let's see if I can get a better. Yeah, all of these things off. These things that were essentially sockets for the capacitors. They just didn't quite do the trick like I'd hoped, so they've got to go. And then I'm going to just solder the capacitors directly on. I don't know a good way to desolder these, so probably going to end up ruining every single one. Let's turn the soldering iron on. Like they're just 2-point connections, so they're doable. We'll see how doable it is. I just have a feeling I'm going to be pulling one of the pins out of each one, so we'll see. All right. What else did I want to do with my new modular? There's some things I want to try around stereo, but that's not really a performance thing live. It's more of like an at-home thing. I think in performances, I'll just put a mono signal out. Unless I'm like at a venue that handles stereo gracefully, but try to do stereo at a place that doesn't, it's just going to result in some bad phase cancellation. Most likely. unintended bad sounds. Um, AKA every track I've ever made. Oh, let me turn the fan on here. And I'm hoping that I'm using Restream's UI. I'm hoping their noise cancellation or suppression is helping with the fan a little bit. I realized I didn't need to run OBS today, so I'm trying without that and see how it goes. Yeah, this is not going well. I might have to. This could be rough. Yeah, that's probably the way to do it. Is just pull these just straight off. Leave the spikes exposed. Come on, buddy. All right, you're. It's very cold out here. All right, let's get some pliers. Way easier. Because then I can pull one of these out at a time. And I really only need to remove the solder from one of the holes. So this should be pretty fast, a lot faster than I was expecting. Which is fine. Because my hits are down for now. Completely in pieces. All of Cosmo, except for the top row. Top row is still intact. Not doing anything with that one. It's perfect the way it is. All right, now, okay, how do I do this? Okay, I think I wedge this between the fan and this, like so. So I have my hands, and I can use one hand with the soldering iron, the other hand with the pliers so I don't burn my fingers, and we can remove these pins. Come on, buddy. Oh. I wish my left hand was smarter. It's actually pretty smart. I just don't use it enough. All right. 2. Um, yeah, so thinking about case design is kind of fun. I really enjoyed. Oh snap! I'll be right back. I dropped something on the floor that I don't want to step on. I was watching a while ago. Colin Benders redid his case, and those were super fascinating videos to me. And now I'm sort of going through div kid videos that are like sort of interviews with people on how they set up their case and all that stuff, their philosophies behind things. Also, really interesting. And I strongly disagree with a lot of the things said, or they're not to my taste, is really more accurate. Um, but it's interesting to learn about what they were thinking when they designed these cases or when they're preparing for various recordings or shows or things like that. So I'm glad your dad taught you things correctly. Um, Not the only things I do left-handed are just really like I can barely like squeeze weak pliers. Like it's not my hand; it isn't strong. I just don't. I'm not. I don't know the right tension because I don't do that kind of stuff a lot with it. I don't know. All right, we're just cruising. Desoldering. And then I could probably just use the exact capacitors I use, even though their leg's not different lengths anymore. They've got the stripe on the side, so hopefully that's accurate. Should be. All right, I got to move this 180 degrees. Drone flip. All right. You start at the back of a magazine? Yeah, I sort of skip through a magazine pretty quick. Just looking for the two articles I'm interested in. What else do I do? I'm actually pretty good at eating with my left hand. Like I have a theory that I probably would have been left-handed had I not been taught everything right hand. But because I don't use it that often, it's still kind of a dumb hand. It's getting better though. All right, I think that's all of the spikies. Take a look. No more spikies. All right, cool. Desoldered. Now I have to clear one of the holes. If I could sort of do this sloppily, but there's something satisfying about it. These capacitors being flush, so gotta clear at least one, and that's easy enough because I am an expert at probably not probably not something I should brag, but at um, this copper wick stuff. Very good at it. If anyone has any questions, let me know. I'm going to turn the fan back on because this is a steamy bit. Niche ads are great. That's cool. Yeah, I love local ads. Like those are my favorite ads. What am I doing? The capacitors, right? Let's do the. That's first try. Perfect. Local ads are my favorite because you get like very I don't know. Maybe it's the nostalgia of them, but they never change. It's always some guy in a cowboy hat trying to sell you something you probably don't need, or real estate. But niche ads are pretty good too because they don't give a shit. They do whatever they want. I didn't clear that one. Might be time to get some fresh copper. The noise cancellation is excellent. Good job, Restream. I was hoping that would be the case. I didn't think of it before because I just defaulted to OBS like an idiot. But if I actually do this through Restream, there's at least some noise cancellation. Whew. Okay, so that side is loaded with solder. What about this side? Okay, I cleaned one of the sides. All good. It's always some guy in a cow. Yeah, that's exactly the same ad that we get here. Uh, I totally want to watch that, but I also don't want to get a copyright strike for some crazy old ad. I'm like super paranoid about copyright because you never know. Like, shit, I was just watching this morning one of Dib Kid's older interviews, and he was saying he got a copyright strike from his own music. Like, the publisher of his own music gave him a copyright strike. So, yeah, I'm a little paranoid about it. All right, two more. Come on. Come on. All right, one more. Got this. This last one's going to be, of course, it's like in those movies, there's that scene where the guy dies behind the couch and you got to shoot at him for 10 minutes by by you, I mean the main characters probably. That's this bit of solder here. There we go. I think might have got it clear. Clear enough, I think. We'll see. Yeah, he got a strike from his own music, and it's not like it went away either. It was like still there, at least when he was talking about it on film. On film? What, what am I saying? All right, so let's turn this right side up, uh, and hope hope that earlier in this video it was right side up when I documented where stuff was. I think so, but let's see. I'm trying to think. Higher capacitance. Okay. Geez. Geez. I gotta go look at the Megadrone docs just a second. Where's the Firefox? Okay. Uh, Look here. Come. Okay. And since I'm lazily screen sharing, let's just do this. Okay. Projects. Mega. Oh. Yeah. There we go. Um, cool. Make a drone panel is what I'm looking for. Maybe it would be under modules or something like that. Cosmo modules? No. I thought it was on the projects page. Mega drone. One of two matches. Okay, maybe the other one is it. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Because on there it says what capacitors do what. Somewhere in here. Actually, you know what? I think I'm good. I think it was right. But let me check the forum real quick. Okay. Capacitors. Everyone complaining about size of it, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I'm just reading through stuff, which means my talking doesn't go so good. I'm just gonna look for capacitors. Should have just done that. Oh, I hate it. I hate Discourse's search. Just like let the browser search work. I wonder if I can tools, browser tool. No, I don't want that. Yeah, file. I don't know. Anyway, hey, there's the thing from me. Oh yeah, here's the next. So we got Mega Drone. We've done the Kilodrone, Hectodrone. Well, this one should have been the Kilodrone probably, but Mega sounds better. Just a second. Somewhere in here is discourse about the capacitors. Oh, geez. Back in the day, me, it was so helpful. Come on. Do, 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 do. I don't remember. I'm just going to go for it. It's probably fine. All right, back to this. And Chrome chat, where'd you go? All right. So I think could be remembering this wrong, but I think the lower values, so like 4.7 UF versus 22 UF, I think the lower value is higher pitch, if I remember right, because the capacitance value affects the pitch on a super basic oscillator like this. And also, a fun thing about this one is, yeah, I think it should be just fine. Actually, look at it. Okay, so yeah, we're good. We're good. We're gonna make it. I'm not sure the best way to do this. This is gonna be so janky. Maybe this way. Let's get really close to the fan when I solder. Okay. All right. So that one, like the reason you only need to clear one hole is you can just remelt the other pad and it'll go in. Just double checking direction. Should be good. All right, let's make this sucker flush and add some solder. Boom. Yeah, lower value shorten the decay in the oscillation. Typically, nice. Yeah, so I'm just yeah. So for those joining late, I had put where. Let's see, where's my box of random parts? Um, a bunch of these type of sockets, like the row pin header sockets, in where the capacitors go, and had socketed the capacitors essentially, so I could test out different values on the Megadrone. The problem was the connections weren't great, so I'd have to like whack the Megadrone every once in a while for all the oscillators to work, which isn't ideal, and also the pitch would vary depending on how good the connection was. So now that I'm pretty happy with the values where they are, um, I, I'm going to just solder the capacitors directly to the board. So that's what's happening. It definitely made more work for myself doing it this way because, but I did change it a couple of times. So I don't know. Maybe it was worth it. One of those things that you just sort of need to try a few times because if you just split it up evenly, like there's a specific sort of range that works pretty decently. Um, it won't sound that good because there's too many highs and mids. Come on, friend. There we go. All right, 2. And I'm just putting these in place, and then I'll solder the other side all at once. Solder them up good. All right, next 4.7 goes here. Yeah, these are the high pitched, I think. Right? Lower the value, shorten the decay. So yeah, lower is high. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry about all these DIY streams. This is just what I got going right now, and somebody else wants to stream. It's cool. All for it. But what I'm trying to do is sort of get my Cosmos systems in peak shape and better than before, because I'd like to. They're really not movable right now. I'd like to move them around. So I've got some parts I need to order too. Probably not components, like more like I want to put those fancy handles you see on like road cases or flight cases. Okay. And we got one more up top here. Um, this one's been abused a little bit. It's pretty funny. Oh, I see. I see what I did here. Why? Why are you not going in? Ah, jeez. DIY VCO. Oh, that's interesting. I'd love to read that. Uh, really skeeved out by this one. I don't want to desolder the pad, so I'm going to give it a second to cool down. All right. This one is a 10. That goes here, I believe. Right? So yes. All right. This goes really well when I've done my job right. Make it more skookum. Yeah, I was going to add some handles, but I've got handles that I've added, but I want to add a different type of handles. I just wasn't aware of how you put them on. There's the like road case handles, and the way you put them on, from what I saw in a couple of videos, is you like just jigsaw a big hole. A lot of folks rivet them on, but mine will probably be bolted on painstakingly because I don't have a rivet gun, which is fine. I could get one, I guess, but I don't need rivets that often, I guess, so I'm not too worried about it. Uh, Getting there. Those last two are nice and easy. Does this one have enough to get there? You think so? Oh, yeah. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, so I want some handles that sit flush so that they stack a little easier, so I don't have to add like washers to the rubber feet, which I already have to do for leveling purposes because, again, none of the plywood I use is at all straight, um, which is probably not a good choice. I'm going to try to pull this one out. Okay, let's clean that a little better than it was. I don't think I did a good job on that one with the solder braid. All right, now it's like completely clean. Yeah. All right. Solder time. Yeah, I could. I mean, I need. Let's see. Two handles, maybe three. I'm not sure. I can't remember if I've added handles on. Um, what is that? Why does it not have any component in there? Output bypass bus. Okay, yeah, that's for the actual Mega Drone. That's why it doesn't have anything in there. Okay, yeah, so I don't need a lot of handles. I just need a couple. Um, and typically, because I don't move them that often, handles aren't a big deal. I put one on my first case ever, and it's really nice, but totally unnecessary. Carry it like a boom box, very heavy boom box. Because what I'm hoping for is a live show in March. I guess I should have led with that. I'm redoing a lot of stuff so that things are better for going live. Um, and some of the things I want to do include more stable power supplies, uh, which I've already started on. I want. What is it? That one have anything? Oh, that was the one I just looked at. I'm just like trained. If I see empty PCB holes, I'm like, what did I do wrong? Um, and I need to build a like outboard gear outboard gear case of some sort, something to transport like the pyramid and all of that stuff. The MS-10 is just going to have to pray for its life that it doesn't get dropped or anything. I'm not going to build a case for that. If I bring it, I'm going to start designing a set around minimal setup. By designing, I mean writing. I mean, it's not that much different. It just means I use my synth a little better. Okay, so I think we're at the point where all of these look pretty good. Not too much skookum going on. Whoa, that was loud. I don't really care about corner protectors. Should I care? Because it's not like I don't know. Like, what do you think? Like, I don't know that corner protectors are a big deal. I feel like if the corners get bashed, I've got bigger problems. I don't know. I also don't really like the way they look, and they add to height. Like again, my stuff is not level by any means, so I use the rubber feet to level it a bit. What was I looking for? This, because I don't want to cut the stabbies off. Nobody likes a short. Maybe electricians do. I don't know. We've already got an electrician coming by today because there's something in our house shorting, and it's not for me, so that's good. Partly why all of my synths are disconnected now is our house is having power issues, which we cannot figure out. Yeah, I mean, I'm only going to move them around. Like, I doubt I'll play that many shows. Like, if I was taking it to like Vegas or something, I'm not going to like put it on an airplane. I'm going to drive it out. Uh, so it's pretty much just me handling it. So I'm not whoever helps me, but I'm not too worried about the corners. Like if they get too beat up, like oh well, it looks slightly worse. It just and I can always put corner protectors on after. I think right, like I don't know. I guess I don't know a lot about flight cases or moving music equipment. Normally I save all these, but these ones are so short. I'm just tossing them. Not useful to me. I mean, maybe I could be talked into them. I don't know. They looked really bulky and unnecessary when I looked at them. Like if I was making something for a touring band that's traveling all the time and all sorts of random people are handling their equipment, yeah, maybe I'd put it on there, but it's just me. Okay, so that was a lot of work just to put all this stuff back in. Should we test it or should I just put the? There's a lot of screws on the panel, so I think testing is probably a good idea. Okay, so I put the capacitors in backwards, but I'm pretty sure I put them in right. Let's see. I need a power supply, which I have lying around here somewhere. Aha. Okay. Need a cable for that. 12-volt AC, 1000 milliamps. Definitely not good enough for a case, but good enough for a bench test. Okay. And we also need a connector, audio. We can do audio now. Pretty sure this is the output. And a connector. Long one would be better, but I think those are all in use inside the new case. All right, next I need to, how did I test this before? Just a second. Let me make sure things are on. I think it's working fine based on the lights, but you never know. Try not to short things too. Um, okay, start over here. Which side's up? Okay. Heavy. All right. So it works. I don't know if you can hear it, probably because it's being noise canceled, but pretty sure we're okay. So those are sort of the mid-range oscillators. There's the higher. I have one more mid-range, and then two higher. Here, let's do. Let's have some fun. Let's actually do it. Right. Let's do the thing. So let's find a pitch. Let's do it in the middle. Actually, that sounds like a nice tone. Probably won't hear any of this. I think that's a third or something. I don't even know what to do. There we go. Okay. No idea, but it sounds fine. Let's turn the fan off. Oh yeah, it's much more stable now. Not perfect, but that'll be good. Okay. Pretty good. What about this one again? I don't know. Let's turn them all on. Let me adjust the restream settings to get rid of that noise suppression. That off, off. Okay, maybe it'll sound better. There's almost like a little bit of a filter. It's like a tone knob. All right, make a drone. Yeah. Unplugging the power does the same thing. That's cool. All right, now we've got to put the front panel back on. And we could do some talking about other things I did. Let us see. All right, so let's move this safely away, turn that volume all the way off, so there's not pops and stuff. All right, I'm gonna turn the echo cancel back on and all that. Cool. Back at drone success. All right, make it look nice again, and then we can talk about the other cases I've built since. I'm just blowing through cases lately. All right. It just works. Cool. So we're going to start with 18,000 washers. And I don't know why. I'm sort of picky about which side is up. I like the shiny side up. There's like a rounded side and usually a little sharper side. The sharper side down probably is going to scratch the panel over time, but it is what it is. No one ever sees it but me, or whoever has to do maintenance on this in the distant future. Yeah, this is actually the most painstaking part of the whole process to me. Desoldering is actually more fun. Which turned the soldering iron off, I guess, for a while. It doesn't need to be on. It is cold in here, but not cold enough where I'm trying to use my soldering iron as a heat source. Yeah, yesterday was really scary. After the stream, power stuff started happening with the room. Like the fan would like go off and like the heater would go off and on. All the lights were flickering like haunted movies. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, shiny side up. See, that's what I'm saying. Same thing with the nuts too, right? Like there's that side, and then there's like a flat, crispier side, right? Doesn't So I put the rounded side up so that I don't know the turn action on the potentiometers is maybe smoother. I'm not sure. That's the theory. Uh, One of those things that I just assumed and never actually tested. Also, it looks a little better in the short time before there are knobs. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Like I was a little bummed. Like the last few streams, you haven't seen it in there because like it was really very flaky. And it'd be one thing if the oscillator just turned off, but sometimes the connection was like poor, but not disconnected, so that the pitch would drop randomly in the middle. So, it was very noticeably out of tune. And this is one of those things where tuning, not necessarily to a standard European scale, but like just them all being in tune sort of matters a bit. I could have also tried. One thing I didn't try was putting all capacitors at the same value because it does have a CV input here, and trying to use it as like a single voice, like a 1 volt per octave voice. But I don't think it's actually 1 volt per octave. It would have been more of like a like an SQ1 or something would have been the way to sequence it. All right. And this is my favorite tip ever. I don't even remember where I saw it, but I did not invent it. I just picked it up from somebody. These deep sockets are the way to go because it's hard to over tighten, and you scratch your PCB less. Sometimes I scratch them pretty good, especially if it's like a crappy paint job that I've done. And it just makes the job fly by because I'm not lining up a wrench or anything. It just goes. And I purposely don't use the wrench side of this because I don't want too much torque. Like these are PCBs, they're not they're not as durable as metal. I guess they're like metal will bend, this will crack. Metal is pretty malleable for the most part, unless it's like hardened anodized aluminum or something. And then it will crack. Okay. So my other cases, my Eurorack case, I think with the Trogtronic power supply is like good to go. I just put 300 sliding nuts in last night, and put a few whatchamacallits, Eurorack modules, like I guess pretty much all my Eurorack modules in there, just to try stuff out briefly. Because again, I'm a little freaked out by power stuff. Because check this out. Let's see. Let's grab this. This power strip like randomly exploded when light was fluctuating throughout the house. As you can see, it's very black inside. So it very much sacrificed itself to keep my house from burning down, which is great. Yeah, so I'm a little freaked out by power. We have an electrician coming to tell us what's up or try to figure it out today. So wish us luck there. Let's put these sockets on. This is actually easier before it's wired up. But that's okay. So that case is ready to go. The power supply you saw me working on over the last couple days is for a case that has been sitting in the garage for months now. And part of that was because I had two FC UK power supplies that were planned to go into the one that was here, the case that was here. But I didn't quite love that configuration because it requires 2 power cables, 2 wall warts per box. So I made a single row box up top. Hold on, my dog's barking at something. So let me be right back page. All right, I gotta go. Electrician's here. Later.